Good morning. Here we are at Treasures and Creations. We're located at 3419 South State Street in South Salt Lake, Utah. Our website is treasures with an S, the letter N, creations with an S.com.
Okay, and today we decided that we would kind of talk about quartz and a couple of quartz-based minerals. We're going to talk about amethyst, citrine, and clear quartz. So we're going to start out with clear quartz.
Okay, so clear quartz comes in, you can either get really clear quartz, which you can completely see through. I don't know if you can see that real well, but optical quartz is completely see-through. Some people would think it was glass, but it's not. Clear through to a creamy quartz, which I'm showing you here on the bottom, and everything in between. So quartz is, gosh, I'm not sure the percentage of the makeup, but there's so many different rocks that start with quartz, it's amazing. So what we do with quartz, sometimes you have clusters, which means there's multiple crystals, okay? Sometimes you have single points, like this one. I don't see that we have any dual terms. Dual terminated would mean that they would have a point on both ends, and I'll get one of those next time. Okay, so you see here, we have the egg, we have a heart, we have a turtle, you know, pretty much anything you could think of, they make.
And quartz will come, this is just a little rough quartz point, and we have a lot of these. People like to use these when they're creating crystal grids, or when they're making medicine bags, or even just as an altar piece. These are great little things to have around. And it's not polished, and you can see how shiny it is without any polish. It's very pretty. And the majority of our quartz is out of Brazil. And a lot of people like the Brazilian quartz. It's absolutely beautiful. Arkansas has quartz as well. And a lot of the quartz that comes from Arkansas is very, very clear. It's not quite optical quartz because of its makeup, but it is very clear.
Some people would call that water clear.
Yeah, water clear.
Okay. And then over on this side, we have amethyst. Now, amethyst is a quartz-based crystal as well. It just has a few extra minerals in it. And we'll get into the geology of it next time. To be quite honest with you, I wasn't prepared for that today.
Today we're just kind of doing like a basic 101. We have a lot of people that want citrine and a lot that want amethyst. And what is citrine, what it really is. So we have both of these out here to show you how the structure is the same. They're both geodes. They both have the same type of crystal. And one of the reasons I picked this geode is because you can see all the little black spots in there. I think they show up. That's actually cacoxenate, which is found in amethyst. So when it comes to citrine, a lot of people want what they call natural citrine, and I didn't know for a long time. I thought this was natural citrine, just like these. I thought this was natural citrine. Now these are pieces of a geode. What happens when a geode isn't good enough to be sold like this? They'll harvest pieces and sell them. However, this is this. It's an amethyst. And what they do, they have a way to heat treat them. They pretty much bake them, if you will, to turn them a beautiful golden color. And I mean, if you look at this one, the color of this is gorgeous. It's very beautiful. And this is really neat because it's got 3 different layers of crystals there. It's kind of cool. It looks like a piece of dessert. Makes it quite yummy and delicious. And we all like delicious crystals. But because people come in looking for citrine, we always get clear with them, are you looking for natural citrine or the accepted citrine? This is a very accepted citrine.
This is a natural citrine. You notice it's got kind of a clear yellowish color.
A golden glow.
Golden. So it goes from from almost clear, which this one is,
And they'll call this one a light citrine.
to what they call cognac citrine, and we don't have, here's a cognac right here. This one's a cognac citrine, and you can see that it's darker. Some people would try to tell you that it is smoky quartz. It is not. This is a citrine. Cognac citrine is pretty much the top of the line. There's probably one or two other equivalents to this, but these are actually, this is the top of the line for citrine, natural citrine. Some people prefer the heat-treated citrine, and because it has such a variety of colors, like you can see my wife Trish was showing you all the different colors. Some people like that. Some people prefer this natural citrine. It's all about what you want.
Now, these points here that Rodney just showed you, they're all polished and beautiful. And there are people that prefer a rough piece of natural citrine, which is what this beauty is. This is a rough citrine point. This is how it actually forms, like this, not like this. This isn't any less of a stone. It's gorgeous and beautiful. Now, this one's really cool. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's little bits of green tourmaline in here. Now, they do find green tourmaline in natural citrine. You won't find green tourmaline in this kind of citrine because it's amethyst, but you will find calcite. That's common. Green tourmaline, not. This guy is really cool. That's a beautiful rough point. It's not been polished. These little guys here, these are natural citrine beauties. Now, everybody loves golden spheres. These are them. The goose that laid the golden egg, there's your golden eggs. And then we have here, I have two varieties of the African citrine. It comes out of Namibia. These are polished points. And you can see their coloring is quite similar. And these are some tumbled. These are tumbled stone. Yeah, they're not polished. These are tumbled points. They're more rounded than the finely shaped polished. And these are just some tumbled stone. These are good for pocket stones, medicine bags, or the women that like to put them in their brockets, however you choose to do it. I met a guy yesterday that puts them up in the top of his socks. That's where he keeps his pocket rocks. So that was pretty interesting.
So when we go back over here to the amethyst, you can see that it comes in many shapes. People tend to like ones that'll stand up. Some people like to see the little hearts. Now these hearts are out of Uruguay. Brain freeze there. And then this is called banded amethyst, and it's
banded or chevron.
Or chevron. This one's would be more referred to as banded because you can't necessarily make out some nice chevrons. When it's a chevron amethyst, believe me, you can see the chevrons in it. So, and they're really, the banded and the chevron are one and the same. It's just where the lines are.
It's quartz.
And it makes it. So now we were talking about, I mentioned earlier, dual terminated. You'll notice there's a point on this end of this crystal and there's a point on this end of the crystal. This is considered dual terminated. Now this particular crystal is really interesting because it is called an ametrine. So this crystal has amethyst and citrine in it. And of course the basic makeup is quartz. So, but this is called ametrine.
Now this has been heated in the ground naturally to have that citrine in it. I don't know if the camera can catch it, but you can see the golden yellow running through it. And you do have to be careful because sometimes they do heat treat them to bring them to a heat treated ametrine. So it all comes down to personal preference and what you like. There's no right or wrong, good or bad. I love ametrine because you get the best of both worlds. And this is what they call a dragon tooth amethyst point. And these are pretty cool. This would have been a lucky dragon. He would have had an extra tooth attached there. So.
Are you kidding me?
All the better to chew you with, my dear.
All right, so basically today we were just showing you a few things here.
Energy. So we're going to talk a little bit about the energy of them. We'll start with the quartz. If you're starting out your crystal collection...
I'll be back. I'm going to get one more.
Okay. Quartz is a great one to start with. Quartz is an amplifier. whatever other stones or energies you're working with, the quartz will amplify it. Quartz is very programmable. You can attune it to whatever it is you're wanting to create in your life. Quartz, any of the quartz-based minerals are very easy to clear and clean. Quartz has always been one of my favorites. It's a great pocket piece. Of course, I wouldn't put this in my pocket, but that's when you'd go for something small like this, because this will work in tune with all of your other crystals. The citrine has been known for a long time, along with cinnabar, as the merchant stone. Back in the days of the camel traders, the merchants would carry a rough citrine. I don't know if they'd carry one that big, but it was in their camel bag, so maybe. And they would carry rough cinnabar. And between the citrine and the cinnabar, that would assist the merchants to know which silks to show somebody, which spices, and it would also bring in monetary abundance. So citrine is known as a great stone for creating abundance in your life, and also it hits the solar plexus and emotional. It's good for emotional balance and clarity. So that's the nutshell on that.
Did you point out that back then there was only the natural citrine?
Well, yeah, they weren't doing the fancy polishing back then. So.
Yeah, well, that's not the other point. The other point is they didn't have this back then.
Oh, yeah, they didn't do the
There wasn't
heat
such thing as a heat treated. Okay, so when she's talking about what the merchant would carry, they called them merchants back then. They were usually guys, the camel trains, you know. Rumor has it that the merchant always carried one in his pocket, and actually one in each camel bag, at least, because camel bags are kind of over the top like this.
Just like saddlebags.
So kind of like saddlebags, but they would have at least one of the cinnabar and one of the citrine in. It was for luck. It was for all kinds of different things. Now, I brought a different crystal to show you. Okay. This one is called
Vogel type device.
There we go. This is a Vogel type device. And the reason we have to make that distinction is there's only 3 people in the world left that can actually cut a Vogel because of the patents and call it a Vogel. So the only difference is this one was not cut by one of those 3 people. I do have real ones available, and they're, you know, like this one's only about $700. But what I wanted to show you is, and you'll wonder about the points. Okay, the points are covered with blue tape for a reason. One, when they're smaller, people like to put their fingers on them and spin them. And these are really sharp.
It will drill a hole.
It'll drill a hole in your fingers, and you know, and then you'll bleed all over. We don't want that. Number 2 is we want to make sure that the points are pristine when you purchase it. So we protect them until you get the chance to purchase it. Now, a real reason I got this one out was I mentioned optical quartz, also known as military grade quartz. And you'll see that this looks like it might be glass because you can't see anything in it. It's clear. This type of quartz only makes up 1% of all the quartz in the world. So it's a bit more expensive because of that. And the legend, or the reality, I'm going to say the reality because of what I believe, of a Vogel is this. As an energy worker, you would run your energy down through your arm and into this end. This is the receiving end. Notice it's a little bit bigger than the other end. That's because what this does is it concentrates your energy and magnifies the energy. Now, the more of these little facets, the more of these little flat sides, they're called facets, the more facets that you have, the more amplification you get.
That's fascinating. Sorry, I had to throw that in.
Wow, good for you. You got a joke in. All right. All right. My wife's the real jokester, so I have no sense of humor. Anyway.
Unless you do.
Anyway, this is the business end, if you want to call it that, because you would be concentrating all your energy. Now, I've got a little bit of a block here. Believe me, it doesn't block all the energy anyway, you know. But when you take this off, you definitely would not want to point this at someone unless you're the practitioner and know exactly what you're doing, because the amplification of the energy in one of these is totally crazy, like tens of thousands of times. Now,
these are tools. These are not something that the basic Crystal 101, I'm just getting started, would come in and purchase. If you feel so inclined, that's really what you get to do, then we're okay with that. But the average person isn't going to run out and buy one of these. It's something that you get to learn to use, and we can assist you with that.
So what we do for the person that is getting a Vogel for the first time, or a Vogel-like device, I get to remind myself to say that. Either way, whether you get one or the other, I always ask people, do not use it on someone else until you are confident in using it on yourself. Now, my wife has one. She doesn't have it on today. It's only about this big. So she wears it on a pendant, and basically it works to keep all her chakras in alignment. Okay. The other thing is, one of the things that you can do with this, with permission, it takes 2 permissions. The practitioner can use this to open your chakras for you. There needs 2 permissions. One is permission from the person that wants their chakras open, and 2 is permission from Source. We're going to call him Source. I like to call him God, but we're going to refer to him, her, or it as Source. And the reason that I say that is because when you're doing this, if that person's lesson is the fact that they've got a stuck chakra and you open it for them, you just took on the lesson. Okay, so you need to make sure you're not taking on somebody else's lesson. Okay, because sometimes it's stuck and you're given permission from both sources, the individual and the source, and you can open it, no problem. Personally, I can tell you from doing it myself, I thought that I could just do this without asking for the second permission. And so I was doing it for somebody, and things really started going haywire in my life for about a week until I determined that I had made a mistake and not asked permission, and it really shouldn't have been done. So I didn't harm that person, but I took on a lot of karma for myself that I didn't need to do. You know, that's not exactly fun.
We're all on our own perfect journey, and taking on somebody else's journey definitely is not on my list of fun things to do, but no. Rodney likes to take on special challenges. Okay, so we'll go back to the metaphysical for a minute. On the amethyst, amethyst is a third eye stone, and third eye is all about spirituality, and there's a whole lot more to this. Like I say, we're just going to touch on the basics. One of the other beautiful things about amethyst is it's a stone about releasing behaviors that don't work. Now, a lot of people that are in addiction recovery, and addiction can be to anything. Addiction can be to M&Ms, addiction, that was mine. Addiction can be to sleep, it can be to drugs, alcohol, it can be to, no, it's not to buying too many crystals. That, of course, would not be an addiction. That's a great habit to have, so we'll erase that one. But this is a great stone when you're working with releasing a behavior that doesn't work, any type of behavior. I found in life that, you know, there were specific behaviors that weren't working for me or the people around me. So in order to shift that, I would work with amethyst and quartz together, and I could program them so that, okay, this is a behavior I'm shifting out of. And, you know, then of course you have the lessons and the things come up that allow me to shift out of the space to create something different. A lot of people that don't work with crystals, they'll buy a beautiful amethyst for their home. And they are beautiful pieces for home decor. Even if you aren't into the energy of it, stick one in your home. See the difference it makes. It's gorgeous.
They may not realize that they just picked the perfect stone to put in their living room, because it's a very calming, because of all the attributes that my wife just explained. One of the things that people experience is it's a very calming crystal. We keep one in our living room, and we have thousands of crystals in our home, and yet people come into our living room, sit on the couch, and they're looking around because they're feeling something, and they're a little confused because there's so many crystals, until I finally point out the one behind them is the big amethyst crystal, and they're like, oh, is that why I feel so calm, and it feels so comfortable here, so inviting. And so when people are first starting, I'll ask them, you know, do you have a favorite color? You know, if you really are a beginner, then I'm going to say, do you have a favorite color? Do you have a favorite shape? Do you know anything about crystals? So we can start with something. One of the reasons Trish talked about using a quartz with an amethyst is because clear quartz is an amplifier. And that any of these are amplifiers. That doesn't matter what the shape is, unless you're trying to do something special with it, and then you start using special shapes to do that. But as far as just, if you were to sit these two crystals in proximity to each other, and this one would amplify what's going on with this one, and people would just feel calm. When you actually come to our shop here in Salt Lake City, we have a couch. Our camera person is sitting on the couch behind the camera right now, taking care of everything for us. People actually call us up and say, I'm having one of those days, and I'm not going to use the words they use, but I'm having one of those days. Can I come into your shop and recharge my batteries? So it's kind of like, come on in, we're going to plug you in. And what I mean by plug you in is they'll come in and I'll go into our Nature's Magnificence and I'll get a really cool crystal. Let me show you one. Go ahead, Trish.
He's going to bring out one of the big guns. So when he put these two together, you can see how beautiful they look. And I'm sure there may have been a few, ooh, I'd like that in my home. Well, we can hook you up with that. We have smaller sizes of this and smaller sizes of this, if that's what you choose.
And bigger ones.
And bigger ones. And there's Rodney with a bigger one.
So this one happens to be a Lemurian, and Trish teases me. She calls it my bazooka, right? And
because of the amount of energy it's capable of shooting out there.
So powerful. What's interesting is it has a trigger crystal. This crystal that's cutting through is a trigger crystal. And then it's got a manifestation crystal. Now the manifestation crystal is a smaller crystal completely formed and embedded in a larger crystal. And that designates it as the manifestation crystal.
They'll sometimes call that a mother and child as well.
Okay, and then this one is a Lemurian. And I'll let my wife tell you why Lemurians are so cool while I put this away.
So Lemurians, if many of you have heard of like Atlantis, you may or may not have heard of Lemuria. You can either pronounce it Lemuria, Lemuria. You know, potato, potato, it's still a spud. It doesn't matter how you pronounce it. It was a land here on the earth at one time, and these crystals come from back in that time. And many of them have what's called the Akashic records on them. And I know for some of you, we're throwing out a lot of words, and you're, what's that? What's that? Well, you're going to have to stay tuned. We'll cover a lot of this stuff. We can't do it all in one day. So the Lemurian crystals are very powerful. They do have the records on them. And when you find the one Lemurian that is truly yours, you can meditate with it. And for some people, they can run their thumb down those records as they meditate, and you'll be able to decipher the records for how it works with you in your life. So Rodney just brought out our little friend here, Merlin. He is banded amethyst. He's hand-carved in Brazil, and he has a very clear crystal ball. So, you know, if you want to come in and talk to him, he may or may not be able to tell you your future, but he'll definitely assist you to be calm and open up spiritually. Wouldn't he look great on your dresser? We may or may not have one twice his size on our dresser.
Actually, we do. And his name
that one is Gandalf. Of course.
And Gandalf has been our company mascot since almost 3 years ago. Right after we got the business going, we acquired Gandalf. We do have other wizards of various sizes.
We have littler ones and they're all hand carved in Brazil. There's a carver that we've been working with, and they've just recently been doing, now it's my turn to go.
Are you going to wheel that thing in here?
Oh, no, 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 no.
So this is banded amethyst, but if you look, you can see some of the makings of the chevron, okay? He's pretty cool. He's been around for a little while. We like him. Oh, you decided, okay, cool.
So as he puts our wizard back, We also have dragons. I mean, come on. Can you really have wizards without dragons? Not in my world. So we have these hand-carved, beautiful stone dragons. They're hand-carved in Brazil. This one is a serpentine from Brazil. And serpentine is a stone found all over. Boy, we're covering a lot of things today. It's supposed to be just 3. So we'll attempt to do better. And this little guy, it's a really pale pink, but it's a beautiful piece of rose quartz. So along with all of these beautiful points and towers and polished and roughed and cathedrals and spheres and hearts and dual term, we've covered a lot of territory in a short time. And wizards and dragons and, oh boy, here come the big guns. Let me get out of the way. Our friends have arrived. So,
if I can get him over here.
Let me set these down, see if I can assist him.
Here we go.
Okay. So if you've been watching the episode, you're familiar with Jake. Well, this is Jake. And he is Bolivianite, hand-carved in Peru by a master carver. We found his girlfriend, Rosemary, also from Bolivia, Bolivianite. This is the same stone, believe it or not. But if you notice the way he kind of, hey, baby, you can see that he has a watchful eye over her. And this one is labradorite, and all 3 of these are carved by the same carver in Peru. And these 2 are just, what more can I say? So
sometimes the mystical qualities are as fun as the metaphysical qualities. So the idea here is, we have a whole lot of different things, and over time we're going to get into the geology as well as the metaphysics of all the individual stones. What we are doing today is just, I guess, more of an introduction so that you can see some of the things we will be talking about. This Bolivianite is something that just came into, if you were to look it up, they'll tell you 2 things are Bolivianite. The first thing they're going to tell you is that ametrine is Bolivianite.
They nicknamed ametrine Bolivianite a long time ago. This particular stone, Bolivianite, comes from a mine in Bolivia, and they started finding it in 2018. And our Peruvian guy has been working with the mine owner, and that's why we're able to get these beauties. And again, Rosemary and Jake. And this is just simply uni. So we're really happy to have them on board. They add quite a bit to the shop, and people love to come in and see them. So they're going back to where they temporarily reside.
I got it. Go ahead.
All right, he's got it. So we've covered a lot today so far. Okay, so some of the other things that I wanted to go over is when you're buying your crystals and you're looking, again, we'll go back to getting started. Quartz, citrine, and amethyst are 3 basic stones to start with. They're really great. You don't have to run out and buy a very expensive piece of polished citrine. You can start with a simple piece of this type of citrine, or you can do like an African polished point. We had a gal in here the other day, and she bought one of these, and she had it wrapped with copper wire. It made an, oops, touched the mic. That probably made a lot of noise. Anyway, she made a beautiful pendant out of it, and it was gorgeous, and she wears it, and it's absolutely stunning. And that's the thing, when you get like these little rough pieces of quartz too, we can wire wrap those and make a beautiful pendant. Then you can have it with you all the time. The same with the dragon's tooth. That would also make a beautiful pendant. So there's many ways and things that you can do with your stones. Like I say, put them in your pocket, put them in your purse. Women will put them in their brocket. There's a guy put them in his socks. Medicine pouches, pouches in your pockets, on your altar, in your windowsill, on a mantle, an altar space at home. So yeah, it's totally up to you what and how you want to do.
Oh, I have one on me. Okay, I have something on. All right, so
I may have a few things in my pocket, but
well, I got them in my little. I
got
a fanny pack full of stuff, so I don't have them in my pockets right now. What's kind of fun is to just come in, say hello. You can go to any rock shop, and they'll rock or crystal shop, and they'll be happy to teach you a little bit. Hopefully you will enjoy our show. We're going to get more technical as time goes by. As you can see, we just kind of wing it. There's no script for this. I am who I am, and my wife is who she is.
I am who I am. I am that I am.
And this is our passion. So we'll get a little bit more structured so that we can get down into some details. But this is a pretty good idea of a few things that it's a good start.
So always feel free, we're open to comments. Go ahead and leave, if there's something particular that you would like to know about. If we don't know the answer, we'll definitely find the answer. So let us know. Give us a shout out. And again, we're Treasures and Creations, 3419 South State Street, Salt Lake City, Utah.
Have a good day.